wanted to run a little logical thread today. I have a simple one, well, relatively simple, common one, I guess I'll say. So it would be a situation where you find yourself getting angry because somebody's saying something that you think is wrong, right? Maybe they're giving you some information or statistics or a belief, a viewpoint, whatever it is, right? There's something they're saying that you believe is wrong and you're getting angry. So you follow the logical thread, right? You say, okay, why would you be getting angry? You must assume there's some benefit to getting angry, right? There's some reason why you think getting angry is a good idea, right? So you say, okay, what's a possible scenario for that? Well, it could be that you want to believe so deeply that the thing you believe is right, right? You believe this is definitely true. What I believe, what they say is wrong. It's definitely there. But therefore you're going to get angry, right? That doesn't really make sense. How does that benefit you? If you believe it's right, if you know it's right, if you're certain it's right, them saying otherwise should not make you angry in any way, right? That doesn't benefit you, doesn't help prove that thing in any more of a way. In theory, the only reason, again, you would get angry is if you thought something was going to be harming you, or said another way, right? You thought there was benefit to stopping or changing that person. So it relates to that person, right? That's where the anger is sourced from. A fact is a fact, and if you believe this is a fact, you know that's not going to change it. Okay, so it's around that person. So you'd have to assume that the reason you're getting angry is because that person can do you harm. Whatever it is they're saying, whatever their belief is, if they can convince people that they're right, that might hurt you in some way. It'll create some discomfort. Even though you know it's not true, you must have some fear that if they can convince other people, or just the fact that they believe it, they have some power, right? I guess that's the way we'll say it. There's some power that exists within them that they have the ability to harm you, however that might be, because they believe this thing. So you say, okay, I think they could harm me. They have some power to harm me in some way. What can I do about that? I guess you have two choices. You could somehow dismantle that power, right? You could remove that power so they don't have it anymore. Or you could change their mind. You can convince them otherwise. So now that becomes, logically, the things you could do. So what often seems to be happening is people are trying to change their mind, seemingly. They get angry, they yell, they try and overwhelm them and, prove to them that they're wrong in some way. Again, whether that be more of an emotional plea or a logical plea or whatever it is. You're trying to demand that. That's the reason now why you're getting angry. You are angry because they have power and you think getting angry is the best way to stop them from hurting you with that power. Well, let's play that logic out a little bit. Does that seem like the right way to go? That if somebody has the potential to hurt you and the only thing you can do is convince them they shouldn't, right? Or that something they fundamentally believe isn't true, do you think yelling at that person and getting angry is the best path to get them to believe they shouldn't do that negative thing to you? It doesn't seem like the best of ideas. I guess you can go the other way and say, well, you're trying to dismantle that power, right? You're trying to take that power away. Maybe the anger and the aggressiveness is more towards that. You're trying to, scare them into not doing that thing to you anymore, right? Fear. They don't have the power to do it over you anymore. It doesn't exist in the way in which they had it before. It's possible. It's possible that anger is geared at that. It makes me think, though, that in this case, that's really just another form of getting them to change their mind. Their calculations changing to now the fear they have of you outweighs the benefit they would get by harming you in some way. So they don't do it. It's just another thing that stopped them or changed their mind from going with the decision to harm you. I guess truly taking their power away would be they wouldn't even have the ability to harm you. It's not that they're choosing not to. They no longer have the ability to do it. Which I think leads you down the path to say, well, how do you take away their ability to do it? Well, you have to stop the thing that would cause the harm. And so often today, I think, in society, when people disagree, the thing they think is going to cause the harm is that this idea is going to spread, right? It's a false idea and it's going to spread. And I need to stop that spread, right? And they do it in kind of a one-off transactional way in one of these conversations where they get angry, right? And they're trying to either scare them or whatever it is into changing their mind. But why not attack the power source? Why not go after the thing that actually gives that person the ability to harm you? If the thing that allows for that is that it may spread, that's the thing you have to worry about. The spreading. How do you stop the spreading? And I think that comes back to what I talk about in these videos all the time. I mean, I think the best way to stop the spreading is to inoculate ourselves. The more we question our thinking and don't blindly follow things, the more we can trust that everybody's doing that, the less fear we would have that these horrible ideas are going to spread like wildfire. We can get into other aspects of this too, right? Social media and things, as we've talked about, that also enable this spread. But my point in this, and part of going through this logical thread is you don't really know where the point's going to end up. You kind of just follow the logic. But my point in this is that the approach we often take, the route we often go, is not always the optimal route. The thing that seems to make so much sense and be so obvious that yes, I should be angry in this situation, or I should be happy, or I should be sad, or I should do this, or I should do that. The thing that makes us believe that it could be true, it could be, but it's really hard for us to know when it's not. But we know when we look in the world that humans, almost by definition, make that mistake often. They think something is right and it's wrong. We know that's true of us. So understand the logic that it must be true of yourself too, myself, yourself. And if that's the case, then it only makes sense on topics that matter to assume we could be wrong and to say, hey, I need to do the work to make sure that I'm looking at this right because the risk is too great here. The risk is too great.